Que pasa YouTube, 6fthax here. Have for you guys today the third episode of this best of 7 mini series with my boy Harrisisawesome. Of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to hammer that like button down below to answer the question of the day, which is on your screen. Now, we are currently 2-0 against Harris in this best of 7 series, which means if we win this match, then we are only one victory away from having a clean sweep in this best of 7 series. So Harris has to really win this match, or if he doesn't, then he most definitely has to win our 4th match, because then at that point, if I win the 4th game, I win the series. So let me know what you guys have thought about the series so far. I do plan to do this with some other YouTubers as well, because it is a lot of fun. I do like it. So looking at the team preview, we obviously have 2 OU teams. Now, my team is a bit more bulky offense team based around Double Dance Thunderous, and Harris looks like he has a pretty offensively based team. The very common core of most likely AV Magirna and defensive Landorus comes to mind, so that's going to be a little bit annoying to work around with. Garchomp, depending on the set, could maybe be an issue, but I'm honestly not too concerned about it. And then if Landorus is double dance, that could maybe be a problem depending on how things go. So let's go ahead and get this match started. So he's going to be leading off with his Greninja, as I'm going to be leading off with my Tyranitar, hoping that he would actually lead off with Landorus, because I have a very secret item on this Tyranitar. But he ends up leading off with Greninja, and I've seen Harris use low kick Greninja before, and I wouldn't have stayed in here most likely anyway scouting out for the low kick, because Protein Greninja is an absolute monster. So I do switch into my Toxapex here, scouting out for the low kick. There was also the chance that maybe he wanted to try and get up a layer of spikes. That would have been a little bit annoying actually, but I'm pretty sure that I do have defog on my Latios, so I could have defogged them away. Either way though, I don't want to stay in here this turn, because there's a chance that he may have the extra sensory or have hidden power electric or something along those lines. So I'm going to make a switch out into my assault vested Tangrowth, which can live any special hit that Greninja wanted to go for, but he does end up making a switch out to Magirna, which automatically tells me he does not have the extra sensory, which is really good because Toxapex has become an ultimate counter to that, as he then goes for the Volt Switch. I'm honestly in a really good spot here. I don't have to switch out. I could have switched out maybe predicting the Volt Switch, because that was very, very obvious, but I mean, staying in here to be able to go to knock off any item that Pokemon wanted to come in on, or you get what I'm trying to say. I could have knocked off any item of whatever he wanted to Volt Switch into, so I thought that was pretty decent, as we do turn out to find that this Garchomp is a defensive Chomp. I end up making an aggressive switch into my Tyranitar, thinking, well, I can definitely live an Earthquake and then knock him out with the Ice Beam, but he actually ends up Dragon Tailing me, and this was a blessing in disguise, as you guys will see. So luckily for me, he Dragon Tails me into my Tangrowth, which is absolutely amazing. He then reveals to have the Fire Blast, which is not doing too much damage to me, although I think he did Fire Blast me earlier. I'm not too sure. Either way though, I'm able to easily take that Fire Blast, and Giga Drain will definitely be able to knock him out before he knocks me out, because he also has a chance of potentially missing Fire Blast, and then there's a chance I'm going to switch out. So I was very, 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 very close to going for the knockoff this turn, but I ultimately went for the Giga Drain again, which was a really bad play on my part. If I had gone for the knockoff that turn, I could have then gone for the Earthquake this turn, and then that way I would have got off some very crucial needed damage on this Magirna, because this Magirna is the one main thing stopping my Thunderous from absolutely sweeping through his team. So I make a really aggressive switch into Thunderous, thinking, okay, there's no way Harris is gonna Floral Cannon, because there's no way he should think I'm gonna try and risk my Thunderous. But no, this man makes the insane play of going for the Floral Cannon when I could have easily switched into my Tangrowth or into my Toxapex, and now I'm in a bit of a bad scenario, because I was really hoping to sweep with Thunderous later in this match, but by making that aggressive play, I pay for it, and now I'm forced to go for my Z move, which I'm pretty sure he's going to leave in Magirna, so I should be able to get off a huge hit. Unfortunately for Harris though, we get a little lucky here and we get a crit. He definitely would have lived although he would have lived on about 15-20% HP. At that point, his Magearna would have been useless, but he would have been able to knock me out. And this is where me not going for knockoff and then going for Earthquake with my Tangrowth really cost me, because I wasn't able to get off that extra damage in order for that crit to have not mattered. So yeah, really sucks on Harris's part. As he then brings in Greninja, I have the ultimate counter to this in my Toxapex, so I'm going to switch directly into that. Honestly, not really caring if he does want to try and pull a double switch, because I can then just switch into my Tangrowth, which deals with non-supersonic Sky Strike Landers, and as we saw, Fire Blast from Garchomp does nothing. So he's going to bring in the Gengar. I am then just going to go ahead and sack off my Thundurus. Unfortunately, my Thundurus was trained in the mountains, and Harris misses the Focus Blast. I'm not sure how much that Thunderbolt damage actually really comes to matter in this matchup, but this is another instance where he could have knocked down my Thundurus. But hey, we're dodging out here, so in comes the Landorus, and this is actually really bad because my only offensive move to hit this Landorus with is Focus Blast, because my final move is Nasty Plot and not Hidden Power Ice. So I'm very positive that he's going to go for a Rock Polish here, because I told him what set of Thundurus I was. So very positive that he wouldn't go for the Earthquake. I make the aggressive switch into my Tyranitar. Now, if he had the Z move for Earthquake, I'm not sure if he would have knocked me out, but because I do have the Shucka Berry specifically for Landers, Therians, or Garchomps, I'm going to be able to chew that Earthquake, stop him from potentially sweeping through my team. So that's really good, because now I'm in an absolutely amazing spot in this matchup. It is looking like it's going to be a little bit tough for Harris to maybe make a comeback, but he still has a chance to win. So as he brings in the Garchomp, I'm just going to fodder off my Tyranitar here. I thought that the switch into Tangrowth would have been a little bit too obvious, plus there was also the chance I could have got on my Stealth Rocks, because I don't think Ice Beam knocks out Garchomp at that amount of HP. Well, actually it may have. I think it might have. I think it was a roll. Either way, though, I think I went for my rocks as opposed to going for the Ice Beam, just because having the rocks up to force him in and out every time would have been really nice to rack up that residual damage. As I then bring in my Latios, I'm going to be able to Draco Nuke this Greninja, and he sees that I'm not taking any Life Orb recoil, so he may think that I'm Choice Spexed. There's also the chance that I could be Choice Scarfed, so he's going to bring in the Gengar, which I'm pretty sure is Scarf Gengar, just because this was a risky switch in either way. So I'm going to go ahead and finally, for the third time, try to sack off my Thundurus here as he gets knocked out by the Shadow Ball. This is absolutely fine, because this allows me to get a free switch in to my Toxapex, which means I can either go for the Scald, or I can try and go for the Toxic, predicting him to bring in Garchomp or Sharpedo. Ultimately, I go for the Scald because there's still the chance that I can burn either Garchomp or Sharpedo, and it just doesn't really matter if I burn them or Toxic them, because either way I can status them the following turn, because they shouldn't be able to knock me out with any one move. Plus here, the Earthquake was very, very obvious, so I didn't predict him to expect my switch in the Tangrowth and try and Dragon Tail me. So I'm able to get off the Toxic on the Garchomp, and this is where I get a little bit unlucky with Dragon Tail, because he Dragon Tails me into my Mega Scizor. Now, because this is defensive Garchomp and I know that he has Fire Blast, I am not going to stay in here and go for Bullet Punch, because I don't knock him out and I still have a lot of use for my Mega Scizor. So I switch out as he makes the good play there, predicts me to switch out, crit Dragon Tails my Tangrowth, which that crit doesn't matter at all because I gain back all the HP with Regenerator, and then he Dragon Tails me back into my Scizor, which again, I am not going to risk Bullet Punch and not knocking this out. So confident that he wouldn't go for the Dragon Tail this turn. Even if he did after this turn of Toxic damage, I would have been able to knock him out with the Bullet Punch. Plus, I could have maybe lived one Dragon Tail with my Latios. Maybe. I don't know. Either way though, even if he knocked me out, it wouldn't have mattered. So I knock out the Garchomp, and at this point, his last two Pokemon are the Sharpedo and the Gengar, which he's going to actually bring in Sharpedo, hoping that I was locked in to the Psyshock, but no, I am not. I am actually Soul Dew, which is legal this generation. So I will be able to knock him out with that Draco Meteor, and at this point, his last Pokemon is the more than likely Scarfed Gengar, which all I have to do is just get a safe switch into my Toxapex, and I can safely knock him out with one Scald. And this is where me getting off that Thunderbolt damage I honestly think didn't matter. Because unless he got really lucky with Spadef drops and then critting me with Shadow Ball, then my Toxapex still could have beat him 1v1. And I think I still have my Tangrowth too, so I could have gone for the knockoff above all that. But either way though, good game to Harris, and we win the third match with a 3-0. Now, it's do or die for Harris in our next game. So if he doesn't win that match, he gets blown back 4-0. So I'm hoping Harris wins, but I'm not going to try and lose. And we will see what is to come of game number 4 in this best of 7 series. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the good battle. If you did, make sure to hammer that like button down below to answer the question of the day. With that being said, guys, I will see you all tomorrow. So thank you all for watching. Later, everybody.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.